Hey, this is Nelson Maldonado of the Complete Me Project YouTube channel. Today we're going to be discussing the topic of personal finance. Specifically, we're going to be creating a budget using the free online budgeting software on everydollar.com. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get started. Hey all, I guess I figured that before I go into the actual budgeting demo, that we have a quick heart to heart, okay? I think everybody's goal in life eventually is to become financially independent. However, there's too many of us out there that are living paycheck to paycheck. There's too many of us out there that have to consistently be calling into their banks and to check their balances to see whether or not they have enough money to go eat or to go out and have fun. Some of us out there, we take that one check. You know what I'm talking about? The last check of the month, closest to when rent is due. And you use up that entire check to pay your rent. And so whatever little bit you have left over, you have to survive on until your next check. And then that second check of the month becomes the one you rely heavily upon, right? How many of you have income tax season comes, right? You get your W-2, you're staring at it and you're saying, wow, I made that much money? Where did it all go? Some of us are relying heavily on family and friends to help us get through financially. Or even worse, you're actually taking out bank loans or using up your credit limits on your credit cards to help you survive and live day to day. Now, if you're listening to me and saying, oh my God, look at, I'm part of that group. I'm part of that group. Oh man, I'm terrible at this finance stuff. All I have to say is don't even worry about it. This is not that you're bad. This is that you're normal. All right. So here are 3 quick reasons why you should be budgeting. Plain and simple. Number 1 is you're going to be able to identify your bad spending habits and correct them. Okay. Number 2, you'll be able to plan better. You'll be able to plan better for emergencies. You'll be able to plan better for your short-term and your long-term goals. And you'll be able to plan better for your debt elimination. And finally, this is an opportunity for you to take back control of your financial life. So if you're sick and tired of living in this current state and you want better for yourself, then keep on watching the video. I'm about to turn around now. It's time to do this demo. Thank you. Okay, now before we head over to the everydollar.com website, let's review the scenario that we're going to try to replicate in this demo. So let's assume we have an employee that makes $20 an hour. That equates to $41,600 per year. And after taxes and any deductions from their paychecks, they actually come home with $2,800 a month. Okay, so they have a $2,800 monthly take-home pay. Their expenses are the following. They have $800 in rent, $200 for a car payment, $75 cell phone payment, $160 for car insurance, $350 food budget. They have $100 set aside for utilities, gas and light. They have an $85 student loan payment, a $50 credit card payment, $100 for cable and internet, and $140 set aside for fuel for their car. This will bring our total expenses to $2,060, leaving us a balance of $740 in which we must account for in our budget. Now with these details, let's head on over to the everydollar.com website. Okay, now we're on the everydollar.com website. So the first thing I'm going to do is sign up for the free service. Okay, so I'll click on sign up. I'll punch in all my details, including email, address, and password. And as soon as I click the create my account password, you will be notified that a verification email was sent to your email account. Please then go into your email account and verify your email so that you can continue using the software. Since I've already signed up for the software, I'm not going to fill this out. I'm just going to jump straight into planning. Okay. Now, based on our scenario, if you can recall, there was $2,800 of take-home pay. So up here in the income section, by default, you only get one line item. So it said paycheck 1. So all I had to do was add an income item. I named it paycheck 2. Both of them were $1,400. That totaled to $2,800. I also went in and updated all of the expense items under the planned column. Okay, in the plan column is where I typed in what I had planned to spend for that month. Okay, so again, based on the scenario, I had $2,800 of take-home pay. All the expenses totaled up to $2,060, which left me a balance of $740 for which I need to account for. Now, the name of the game is to create a zero-based budget. And what that means is that every single dollar that comes in has a name and a purpose. And so we're not done yet. Now we have to account for the $740 that are left to budget. Okay? So with that money, we're going to do a few things. The first thing is, you know that every month there's always miscellaneous expenditures, right? Things come up that you don't expect. And so I'm going to take 100 of these dollars and I'm going to assign it to miscellaneous, right? One of my kids says, "Oh, I have a trip. I need lunch money or I need trip money." That can come out of that fund. Okay. Additionally, I know that the faster I pay off my credit card, the quicker I can just cut it up and never use it again. So I want to accelerate payment so I can get rid of this debt. And so instead of $50 this month, I'm going to pay off $250. Okay. Now I still have $440 to budget. Okay. So I want to do two more things this month. The first is, I know Christmas is coming in December. And so I want to create a savings account, savings fund. I'm going to call it the Christmas fund. Now, for me, it's Christmas. For you, it may be that you're planning a vacation. Some of you may be planning on a major purchase, like a brand new, flat screen TV or a brand new car. You can go ahead and create a savings fund to help you towards that goal. And so here, for this, I'm going to actually put $60. So I'm going to do $60 from here to December to create, to make sure I have enough money to buy gifts for Christmas. And so the rest of the money, I'm going to put the $380, I'm going to put towards my emergency fund. Okay. Now, let me pause here real quick to discuss emergency fund real quick. So for anybody, this is your first time budgeting, it is recommended that you set aside an emergency fund. And usually the dollar amount that you would set aside will be $1,000. And they say that when you do have an emergency, usually the $1,000 would cover any emergency that you may have. Okay, so for example, the alternator in your car goes, or you get a flat tire. All the expenses for those types of things are usually covered within the $1,000. So you will build up to your $1,000, and if an emergency happens, you go ahead and spend it out of the emergency fund. And then in the future months, your job is then to replenish what you've taken to make sure that you always have $1,000 at all times. Okay. Now, if you look at the budget, it's saying that I've spent every dollar. It is an every dollar budget. Okay. Now, budgeting is just half the work. The real work comes in now monitoring and actually recording the expenses that have occurred that go against your budget. Okay. So let's dig into this a bit further. Okay. So now my budget is set, and now it's time to record what actually happens in the month of August. Okay. And so that is done simply by clicking on the line item. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna record income that came in. I did get my paycheck. I checked my bank account balance, and I did receive my $1,400 that was promised to me. So I'm gonna click on paycheck. The details will come up here on the right, and I will click add new. All right. I can then punch in $1,400. Right. As you can see, the income radio button is selected. And so I can track the income, $1,400. And now you can see that on the receive side, $1,400 now appears. And if you look at the totals, out of the $2,800 that I have planned to receive for income, I've already gotten $1,400. Obviously, when paycheck number 2 comes, you will then put that dollar amount here. If for some reason I got a bonus that time and it's more, then you just go ahead and claim that you receive more and adjust what you're going to plan for. And then make sure if it's more, then you have to then figure out where you're going to spend the rest of that money. If it's less, then you got to figure out where you're going to have to pull what category you're going to have to reduce in order to make sure that you only spend what you earned. Okay. So that was tracking an item that is an income. Now let's track an expense. So let's say you had to pay your rent. So you will go here, click on this line item right here, rent. The details come out. I'm going to add new on new expense. And I'm going to say, yep, I paid $800 in rent.
as you can see now, the expense radio button is clicked and I can track the expense. All right. And it says spent. I've spent $800. I planned for $800. And then if you click on the actual button, it'll flip between spent and remaining. So obviously I have $0 remaining in this category because I've spent all 800 already. Now, as you go through tracking your expenses, you're going to notice that you may have underspent or overspent in certain categories, and that's okay. All right. So towards the end of the month, when it's time to fully reconcile the month before moving on to the next month, you should run through each category. Any place where you overspent, just make sure you adjust and you increase what you have planned for, which as a consequence may mean that you put less into savings, right? Or vice versa. Maybe you didn't spend enough in gas. You intended to spend $140 and you only spent $80, leaving you a balance of $60 that you can carry on into the emergency fund or to pay and accelerate your debt payments. But all in all, at the end of the month, you should have an exact, true and actual budget based on what you had spent. Now, creating the budget for next month is fairly easy. You would just click on the month, and when you're ready to create the next month, you would just go ahead and click on the next month. And what it will do, after you click on the Start Planning for September button, or for whatever month you're planning for, it would actually carry over all the numbers from the previous month. All right. However, please remember this. Every month is different and unique. So what happened if I met my $1,000 goal for the emergency fund in the month of August? And that means that technically I don't need any more money in my emergency fund for the month of September. So I will go ahead and zero that out. And then you will make any adjustments. What if you don't want to pay any more on your credit card this month and you want to bring it back down to 50? You go ahead and do that. Okay. Every month is unique, and it should also be designed around what's going on that month that you are aware of. Any holidays, any other expenditures that you foresaw that you are then able to plan for this month, you go ahead and type it in.
Well, there you have it. You were able to log on to the everydollar.com website. You were able to create your first budget, and now you know how to track both your income and expenses. All I can say and guarantee is that it does get easier the more you use the software. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button. You can also subscribe to the Complete Me Project YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button below. If you have any questions or comments on this video, please type it in the comment section below. I'm interested in knowing what you liked, what you didn't like about the video. Perhaps you have any suggestions about future topics that I can cover on this channel. And if you know someone that can use and benefit from this information, be sure to share it with them. In the show notes below, I provided a link to a Google form where you can sign up to my mailing list and you can receive email notifications for any future content that I release, whether it's a YouTube video or any other form of media. That's the best way to sign on to my mailing list. And you can always email me at thecompletemeproject@gmail.com. Until next time, this is Nelson Maldonado signing off. Thank you for letting me share a little piece of me.